Hey guys, what's going on? It's Zap again. Welcome back to another holiday buying guide for, of course, PC. We ain't gonna do that console nonsense. We're gonna be talking about the PC. So we did the 750. Now we're gonna do 1100. Now I wanted to do 1,000, but I couldn't get what I wanted into the $1,000 budget. But like the other build, I want to show you how you can shave off some dollars. So maybe you can fit into that 1,000 and still get the most bang for your buck. And we did change it up a little bit with what we're going to get. So these are the prices as of today, November the 22nd, 2014. Today. Might not be today when you watch this, but it'll still be a pretty good guide. So here's the shopping cart. You can see it's $11.26, but there are some promo codes. They'll shave it down to about $1,100. So first thing we're going to start with the case. Last time we went with a Cooler Master case. This time we're going to spice it up a little bit and go with a better looking case. So we're going to go with the BitFenix Shinobi, the window model. These cases are gorgeous. They're extremely nice cases. I built my buddy's PC in one of these. They are quiet. He loves it. He absolutely loves his case. And it was pretty much a joy to work in. There were some things that irked me about it, but it was still a good case. The touch on it's nice. It's an extremely well done case. I can't, talk enough good things about this case. But if you got big hands, it's going to be kind of iffy in some parts. So that's the case. The BitFenix Shinobi window. Of course, we'll go with the WD 1TB black. You can go with blue or green. They're $15 cheaper. But the black has a little bit more speed to it. But like I said, you can go with the blue or the green, and you'll be fine. Alright, so for the video card, we're going to go with one of the new big dogs. This is the GTX 970. This is the EVGA super clocked version with its ACX 2.0 cooling. This thing will overclock like a champ. Most people is being able to get like 1400 megahertz or 1500 megahertz out of the core, and up on the RAM a little bit, the VRAM that's on the video card. So this card right here though, it will annihilate. I mean, it's not as good as like a 980 or a 780 Ti, but it's a beast nonetheless, especially for the price range it's in, $350. You get a free game. You can get, Assassin's Creed Unity, Far Cry 4, The Crew. You can pick one of them. All AAA games. So that it's effectively like you're just paying $389 for it instead of $289 instead of $349. But what can you do? What can you do? So this is a monster of a card. If you haven't seen the benchmarks, you need to go look at them. It does extremely well for what you're paying for it. Of course, we're going to have us a little Asus DVD drive. If you don't want a DVD drive, you can always get rid of it. I don't have one. I don't need one. This time we're going to switch up on the power supply a little bit. Last time we went with XFX. This time we're going to go Corsair. This is 650 watt, $10 off. So we're automatically down to $1,116 now. So there's some money shaved off, plus a $30 rebate. So now you below $1,100. But it's 80 plus gold, has a single 12 volt rail, and it gets great reviews, and it's gold rated, so it's efficient, it's modular, and of course our power supplies are awesome. They have extremely high reviews, and it's very reputable. I mean, it's got Seasonic guts in it, so can't go wrong. For the RAM, we're going to use the same G-Skill Sniper. No sense in going over it. So, for the motherboard, we're going to go with the Asus Z97A. It's a nice looking motherboard. It's got plenty of expansion slots. It's made by Asus. It's got their crystal sound, the Intel Gig Ethernet. Sorry, you got some M.2 and SATA Express. Just a great all-around motherboard. It looks pretty nice, and it's pretty affordable. This motherboard got really good reviews, especially from places like OC3D, Tank Tom talked really highly about it. For the processor, we're going to go with the i5 4690K, the Devil's Canyon, the reboot to the Haswell series. They fixed the TM in it, and I actually had one of these at one point before I started spazzing out and decided I needed to sell everything. But I had one of these and a really nice MSI motherboard, and I got like 4.5 gigahertz out of this thing with an H80i. Never got hot. I mean, it stayed super cool, easy to overclock, and so much performance that you can get out of this. 4.5, easy. I've never been able to get out of 4.2 with an Intel processor, but on this one, I must have had one that was just great. I just pushed it as far as 4.5. I probably could have went a lot higher. But like I said, it wasn't hitting the thermal threshold. It wasn't bothering my cooling. So this thing is awesome, especially for gaming. So now we're going to go down. We'll take a look at the cooling. For this one, went with the Cooler Master Side-On 120V. It's a compact all-in-one. It'll be able to keep it cool and keep it silent. And that's the main thing. And it's pretty cheap. If you didn't want to use the Cooler Master, you could always go with an H80i. It's thicker, and it's made by Corsair. But these Cooler Masters, though, they've been working in conjunction with SwiftTech, and SwiftTech's pretty much #1 in the water cooling space, or the liquid cooling. Don't want to call it water cooling, liquid cooling space. So it's a really nice, cheap, effective way to get into some AIO liquid cooling. And then we're going to throw an SSD into this one. We're going to go with the Kingston SSD Now V300. It's not the fastest, but it's not the slowest, but it's definitely pretty cheap. It's $60 for 120 gigabyte. It'd be great for a boot drive and maybe one game, and give you some really nice SSD speeds. I figure at this price point we should be able to throw one in. But since this is for gaming, I knew that we needed to dump all the money, or most of the money, into a video card. So we had to cut some corners, make some sacrifices. This is pretty much the sweet spot, best bang for buck in the 1,000 to 1,250 range. 1,500 is pretty much the go-to spot if you have that kind of budget for a PC. But that's this one, though. This thing will do extremely well. Extremely well. But it's based off of Intel and NVIDIA. So I'll show you all the cart one more time so that you can look at it while I don't talk. So we're going pretty slow. So I already had this one set up, but now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do an AMD counterpart to it and see what we can get with the AMD for what I have at 1126. Let's see what we can match it with. So first off, we're going to go with an 8370 because the last time I checked, they was cheap. I think it's actually cheaper than the 8350, but we're going to check real quick. No, the 8350, 149. Whoa, can't mess up there. Cannot go. Just go ahead and grab that. It's like $20 cheaper. Alright, so for the motherboard, we're going to go with the 990FX on this one. And we're going to go, we could go with the Crosshair 5 Formula Z motherboard, but I don't think we're going to go that route at all. We're going to go with the ASRock 990 FX Extreme 9 motherboard. I owned one of these. This thing is a monster. Probably one of the hands down the best AMD AM3 Plus motherboards I've ever used. And I've used quite a few of them and worked with a lot of them. But this one is definitely in the top tier on my AMD motherboards to go to. This 990 FX Extreme 9. So for the case, we could always do the Bitfinex Shinobi, but we won't do that though. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to go with something a little bit different. We're going to need some better cooling for this one. So we need a bigger case. Let's go with an NZXT. They make pretty big cases, and they're pretty cheap. That's a mid-tower. I mean, this thing's going to be a monster. Looky here. We got this ATX full tower, this Fanta. These things house cooling for days. Alright, so we're going to go with the Neptune cooler from Cooler Master with this one. This Neptune 280L. Boom. It's got them new fans. It's going to keep it real nice and cold. So we're already at $539. We've got a long ways to go, though. We're going to go with the Western Digital again. You could go with Seagate if you want to. We might as well. We'll go with Seagate. I've used Seagate drives before. They're pretty good. I mean, my personal preference is where, I mean, look at that. It's $53. $53 for 1 terabyte. It's so cheap. We'll go with that. Alright then. We got that. So now we need some RAM. We're going to go with, we'll just do the G-Skill Sniper again. Why not? Stick with what you know. Try and keep it as apples to apples as we can. Shave some dollars off. You could go with 16 gig if you wanted to. I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, so I'm trying to think of what we need now. We need a power supply and a graphics card. So first of all, might as well do it. Let's grab a 290X if we can. If it's in the price range. I think we should be able to grab one though. Let's go with the Lightning. 10% off. That's going to save you $40 right there. $40 off that 290X Lightning. Puts it down to $350. Alright, so for the power supply, you're going to need something about 850 watts. Because this system ain't going to be cheap on power. It's going to pull it. It's going to pull it like it means it. So we're going to go ahead and go with the HX 850. So, you can see we're already at $1,188. Minus the $40 instant. So that puts us down at $1,140 minus some other things. So let's see what we got in our cart though. We might have to make some changes. So we spent more on the cooling for sure. We spent an extra $80 on cooling. We spent more on the power supply. And we spent about the same on the video card. However, we saved money on the processor. So kind of, might be pushing a little bit too much trying to get that 290X. We'll get rid of it. We'll get rid of that 290X because got something else for it. Something even better. And you're like, what's better? A 290. That's right, $269 for the Tri-X OC. Boom! $1,068. So, we still need to get some SSD, but we've got maybe $80. Let's see if we can get some 120 gigabyte SSD. Alright, go with the Kingston. Go with the Samsung Evo. That's what we're going to go with. I prefer the Evo. Let's see if they've got how much the 250 is. 129. Ooh, can't move that one in. Unless it's on sale. Nope, not on sale. So, okay, so it's pretty much around the same thing. You got some wiggle room that you can go with. So, let's talk differences between the two systems. Okay? First thing you're going to notice is we went with a bigger case, better cooling, better power supply, a better brand of SSD, and you get like 20 games free with an AMD card. But if you look back at the other system, you got better graphics, less cooling, smaller case, this and that. So you really got to look at the trade-offs of what it is that you're looking for. In the same price range, yeah, you're going to get... Actually, with the Intel system, yeah, you're going to have a little bit less of an upgrade path, to be honest. I mean, yeah, you can move up to an i7 for an extra $100 if you wanted to. Extra $130 actually. Extra $100. You don't have as much room in that smaller case. Your cooling, we kind of went cheap on the cooling, to be honest, because I knew it needed a cooler. and that's all I could get to fit into the budget. But you have more horsepower and better efficiency in the video card. So that's kind of the trade-offs that you gotta look at when you go pick between AMD and like an AMD branded build versus an Intel and Nvidia branded build. You're gonna have to spend more on power supply and cooling. However, if you ever decided that you wanted to go for better graphics cards or switch spots, you know you've already got that cooling and you've already got that power supply. So if like all you have right now is say $1,153, and you think that within the next year or two you're going to be upgrading, I mean, you've already got a solid power supply, 850 watts, gold. You've already got the cooling. You've already got the case. So, I mean, that's money you don't have to spend on your next build. So, that's up to you, though. The Tri-X OC, it's quiet, and it stays cool on the 290. So, that's the things you got to look at. There's trade-offs for everything. So, I hope this helps you all in the $1,100 build. Next thing we're going to go for is we're going to go for a $1,500 build. And this is where you're really going to see things start to spread out. Adios.